1 year ago today, I graduated from the high school in my city with a class of over 300. I wasn't an honor student or anything like that. I wasn't popular. Just an average student who had a couple friends and I played some sports. And after a year, I'm starting to see the class of 2023 graduate. People that I knew, people that are in my life that are graduating this year. It's making me think back that the year has already gone by so quickly after graduation, and everything just going a lot faster than I'd expected. So I started to reflect on my year as a graduate and finally in the real world. I'm living at home with my family still. I'm lucky that I have the opportunity to stay at home while I can get my life together. I'm currently working full time. A few weeks after I graduated, got a job working full time in a manufacturing facility. Working with like electronics. Union job. It's good pay, good benefits, all that. You know, good. It's a good opportunity. And I've been slowly moving up. I've only been here for about 9 months, so I've been making some pretty good progress and moving up. So I'm very grateful for that. For my age, as a 19-year-old young man, I actually have a pretty decent paying job for my age. Like I said, good benefits, first shift and all that. Now, going straight into the workforce right after high school I wasn't really sure or really ready for graduation at all. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I was under the impression that I wanted to be a mechanic, and I signed up for a mechanics class. And once I got this job, I realized that it wasn't really something that I wanted to do, because at the job that I'm at now, I have the opportunity to make more money than most mechanics in my area do at the top rate. So I felt that probably wasn't a good opportunity for me, and it was something that I was a little bit more of a passion that I felt would be killed if I were to go into it working full time right out of high school. I felt that it would be something that I would get sick of and I wouldn't really enjoy anymore. So I decided against that. Coming from high school and going straight into the workforce was definitely like exciting, actually, because I've never been never been good at school. I've never been good at turning in assignments on time. Never been good at doing essays, any of that stuff. I always I passed. I graduated. I never stayed back or anything like that. But I never was a scholar. I never was a good student. I hated school. Hated doing homework. All of that. I just felt that it was completely pointless for me, especially when I started working part-time in high school, is when I was like, why do I have to go to school when after school I get to go to work and then I can make some money? I'm seeing money go into my bank account every week, and this is pretty good. This is a pretty good life. Why would I even need to go to school? Now, obviously, I don't agree with that now, but that was pretty much my mindset and what led me even farther down this path of not doing good in school. I didn't really care for my studies at all. So not having to worry about assignments and homework, or the report card coming in the mail. When the schools that I went to, they would mail us the report cards in the mail, so you wouldn't know when you were gonna get them. You would just get them in the mail, and it was you gotta, and the mailman would come before you got home from school, so you gotta race home on the day that you felt like you were gonna get your report card or your progress report, and you'd have to beat your parents there, and then you'd have to hide your report card. But the thing is that you also had to get it signed, and then you'd have to bring it back to school. So you'd have to either forge the signature or just hope that the teacher just wouldn't ask for it back. Now that's for someone like me who didn't do good in school. If you were a good student, you had to worry about that. But I was a terrible student, so I always had to hide my report card. So, I when you're in the workforce, it's a completely different environment. Coming straight out of high school, I'm answering to like a teacher who wants something from me, and I didn't really feel like I was really getting anything in return for doing all this work, even though I kind of was. But now I get to go somewhere for roughly the same amount of time, a little bit more time. Um, a little bit more fun than school. I have more friends at work than I did at school, and I'm getting paid for this. Like this is pretty good, right? But as time went on, then I started to feel like I was kind of living in a dream where you're living the same day over and over again. I'm sure you've probably seen some kind of movies like that where you're just living the same day over and over again, or you had a dream like that. That was pretty much the day-to-day life. I was pretty much doing the same thing. I've done a few things in the place that I'm at right now, but there's one part of the job where you kind of you sit down, and we're working with electrical components, so I'm soldering. And what I was doing is I was just soldering these boards together. If you don't understand electronics, you're not going to know what I'm talking about, but I'm soldering these things together, and I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just kind of mindlessly doing this work. I feel like I'm just like a rat on a wheel or something. Like I don't have to really think about what I'm doing. There's really no, when you're done with the day, it feels like you're tired, but you don't even know why you're tired, because you're sitting down and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be tired if I'm getting out of work and I was just sitting down, right? I mean, but you are tired because it's just mentally and physically draining out of you. It just kills your morale and makes you just lazy when you're just sitting down all day, not doing much at like a desk type of job. You don't have to think about it. You're just kind of just going there to just show up. You don't really want to be there. So that was it's kind of what I realized a few months in, and I was kind of thinking like I was kind of on autopilot. I'm just every day the same thing. 5 days a week. You wake up on Monday, 5 a.m. You take a shower, get ready, go to work. You come home, and then you get ready for the next day. And it was like, by the end of the week, it'd be Friday, Saturday. I look back on the week and I'd think, okay, well, what did I really do this week? And I couldn't even remember. I couldn't even remember what I did for the whole entire week. My whole week, it just felt like nothing had happened. And then it started to turn into months. Like weeks, and then months. It's turned into months where it's like I felt like nothing happened in my life because I was just kind of mindlessly working. And I wasn't really, like, I thought I was doing the right thing and kind of striving to do good and all that. Like, it's not I'm getting money and all that. Everything's fine. I'm getting money. Like, I'm living at home. I'm early in my life. I don't need to rush, right? But there's a certain emptiness that you feel. Then you have to. Then it doesn't really matter how you feel, because then you have to do it all over again. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you're tired from working, then you want to sleep, but you're like, well, I mean, I deserve to treat myself, right? I deserve to, like, I gotta have some time for myself. If I'm working all this hours, I deserve to have some time for myself, right? So you get home, you're doing your errands and all that or whatever, then you come home and then we want to relax, right? So then you wanna turn on Netflix, or you wanna, Hulu, whatever you watch, YouTube. You want to watch some movies, you want to play some video games. So you load up the game, and then whoops, you just wasted 3 hours, 2 hours, even 1 hour. You feel like you wasted that time, because then you've already stayed up past your bedtime that you've set for yourself, and now you're going to be tired in the morning, just because you wanted to get a little bit of enjoyment for yourself for that day. Your idea of winding down, resting, is you playing video games. So you feel like you want to wind down, right? You want to rest. So instead of actually resting, you're you're doing something. For me, it was video games, and I was watching anime. You know, you're watching anime, you're playing video games, and the next thing you know, it's like 10, 11 o'clock, and like you're like, oh snap, I gotta wake up early in the morning. I'm gonna get no sleep. If I go to sleep now, you know, that would be exactly 6 hours from the time I go to, if I were to go to sleep, fall asleep right now. That's not including, you wake up in the middle of the night or something like that, or you wake up a little bit early, you go to sleep a little bit later. You know, that's 5 hours to sleep. That's not 5 hours of you actually sleeping. Sorry, 6 hours, 5, 6 hours of you actually sleeping. You gotta wake up for 5. You gotta go to sleep at like 8 to get a real good night's sleep, and that's a real good night's sleep. You gotta give yourself a bunch of room, and that's just to get, that's just to get a decent amount of hours of sleep. That's if you sleep all those hours. That was something I already kind of experienced when I was in high school, but for some reason now the stakes are higher if you do something like that. Like when you're at a job, the thing is that like school, like you can miss a day of school or something like that, or you can come in late, or there's gonna be a slight penalty. You can get like a detention or something, like, or your parent, they might call your parents or something like that if you don't show up. But like this, when you're at a job, there's a lot more responsibility that you have. You have to, like, you signed a paper, you gotta show up, or you don't get paid, or you can get fired. There's no option to just not show up. There's a lot more responsibility, even when you don't feel like it. Doesn't matter what, you have to show up, meaning that you need to take some responsibility, and you need to make sure that you're going to bed on time. And if you don't, then you're just gonna have to suffer at work the next day. That was something that I thought I would be used to because I went to school, but it's not the same. It's not the same at all. Just not the stakes are just not as high. They're way higher when you're working a job, because if you don't work, you're not gonna get paid. You don't want to lose your job, and you're there for more hours. These are all just my like personal experiences and things. It's just an average. What an average day looked like to me. Up until like a little bit more recently, things have changed a little bit, but that's kind of just where things were for a while, and my kind of thoughts on what life has been like out of high school. This is just my personal experience. I didn't go to college or anything like that. I'm not planning on going to college, but I do have some plans for the future. But I just wanted to make this to kind of give an idea of what life was like for me out of going straight into the workforce after high school. I don't mean for this video to come off as like a big complaint or anything like that. I'm not like I don't want to sound like entitled, like I think that like I should get free money or something. I don't think that. But I'm just sharing my personal experience of what I've observed, while I've been out of high school. It's definitely a big jump to just go straight from high school into the workforce, working a 40-hour-a-week job. It's a lot of pressure, a lot more responsibility, and it's definitely a good experience, and it gives you a good idea of like the real world, and being what being an adult is like. It's just if you can just enjoy your time, while you still have it, just do it, because I wish that I didn't take my high school experience for granted. Definitely was a little bit too anxious to get out. I didn't like it. Like I already said, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it at all. But I think that I should have savored it just a little bit more, because it definitely is a big jump. And like I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but it's definitely not the same. And maybe this is just my personal experience, but maybe if you're someone like me, you're not gonna like it. I don't really like it at all. It's I'm still gonna go to work and everything. I still I stay overtime and all that, but definitely like just look around for what you want to do when you get out of high school. Like, and you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, but definitely open your eyes to like all the possibilities, and just kind of experiment. Don't try to like just settle down. I mean, even me, I'm not I'm not still just trying to stay settled down. There are other things that I'm trying to do that I'll get to in a moment, but just don't don't just think, okay, I have to go to college, or like I have to go to trade school, or like I have to go into the workforce. Just know that you're young, and you have a lot of opportunities, and so don't be rushing to get into any sort of situation, and just see things out, and think them through. Because once I started to think like that, even though while I was at this job, I'm like, this is horrible, like I gotta get out of this now. When I made that realization, then I decided that I made a decision from after working this job. I made a decision that I'm going to try to get out of this situation, because I don't think that working a 9 to 5 is for me. What I want to do is I want to have something that I want to be my own boss. I want to just have like just financial freedom, and be able to do, what I want, when I want, how I want. And I know that that takes a lot of hard work, but I think that that's something that I think will be more attainable for me if I don't have this job. So my goal right now is to put myself in a position where I can leave my job, and that's why I started taking real estate classes. So I already finished my course earlier this year. I started to take classes for real estate. To become a real estate salesperson. That's like the one thing where I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I was like, okay, well now I kind of want to like invest in something. I'm getting money now. I want to invest in something. What should I do? And I started looking into the highest yield investments, and then I found out that real estate is one of the best investments that you can get, and it gives you passive income. Passive income, kind of ties in with the whole financial freedom thing. So I started to look into that, and then I realized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and as a real estate agent, you are an entrepreneur. So I'm going to get the knowledge of being a real estate agent so I can learn more about the market and how things work, and then I can use those skills to get me into that field, to get my foot in the door, and start a new career while also having a stable income, and branching off, and slowly as I start to make progress in that area of real estate, then I can slowly move out of this job. So that's pretty much my plan for right now, and a few other things that I will talk about in the future. But that's pretty much what life is like for me right now, 1 year out of high school. So I'm not sure if this is really a review anymore. It's more of just me saying how things went for me, and kind of just me complaining the whole time. But moral of the story: if you are in high school right now, or you are fresh out of high school, just know that you don't have to know what you're going to do before you leave high school, or right away after high school. And even right after high school, you don't, if you start something, that doesn't mean that that's where you're going to end up. Even right now, I don't know where I'm going to end up. Even the real estate thing, or this job that I'm at, I don't know if I'm going to be doing either of these things in 10 years, 5 years, maybe even 1 year. I don't know where I'll be. What I do know is that I'm going to, keep on working on myself, and just looking forward, and just with like tunnel vision, and just focus on what you want to do, and not what other people want you to do, and just choosing the path that is just comfortable, because there's so much out there for you, and there's no need to stress yourself out, because you have your entire life to get your life together. You have your whole life to get your life together. And I'm glad that I realized that at the young age that I'm at now, because there was a point where when I was in school, that I had like a mental breakdown, pretty much, because I was so stressed out about what I was going to do after high school. Everyone was pressuring me. Everyone was like, all my teachers and my family and other staff members and even colleges and stuff, they were just, you know, shoving it down my throat that I need to pick a major or pick a school to go to or pick a career or find out which trade school I'm going to, you know. Like I need to have like it was a requirement. Actually, it was a senior project that we had to do, that I needed to know what I was going to do after high school. And that is not that was not good for my mental health. It was really stressful. And once I let go of that idea that was shoved down my throat, that I need to go to trade school to be a mechanic, that I've been told my whole life that, and that, like that was pretty much what I just told the teachers when they asked me what I wanted to be. That's when things started to look up. I started to realize my actual desire of what I want to do, and I started to just let go of the societal pressures of uh what life should look like after high school. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, then if you want to subscribe, then I'd appreciate it a lot. And just let me know what you think. Let me know what you think down below. I want to hear, your thoughts on the matter. What was it like for you after you graduated high school? Where were you a year after graduating? Or if you haven't graduated yet, then what do you think? What do you think about this topic? Where do you see yourself a year after you graduate? And what are you interested in going into after school? Uh so that's all. Thank you for watching, and peace.